Yeah. I need to switch to OBS. I know I keep threatening to do this, but now that we've switched video sourcing, I think it's time.
Right. Now, what's the point of that? Just
I don't,
for,
because so I use XSplit,
yeah,
and they keep raising the price of it. And
I see. I don't know if you looked at the price of OBS recently, but
yeah,
it's free. Yeah. It
and
works well. I mean, for what I do, I just do screen capture stuff with it, but
I mean, that's
I
effectively
like it.
what this is. It's
Right.
one day I'll
I
do it.
mean, Zoom has built-in recording, but then you can't, we'll
You
be
can't do the
letterboxes.
whole
Yeah.
doobie doos.
Right. Right.
That's the whole magic of the.
I don't know how. I've never done that part of it with OBS. I wonder how easy that is.
I'm assuming it. I don't know. I'll find out. Maybe over Christmas
Should
break.
look. I don't. Yeah, I really don't know.
Maybe over Christmas break I'll figure it out. But you know what? Before then, I don't know. It feels like Evernote's in a death spiral.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, the correct response to that headline was like, "Oh, is Evernote still?"
Mm-hmm.
They used to be it.
Yeah.
There was a time when I was still. I mean, I was a heavy user of OneNote for possibly almost 20 years, whatever the time frame that was. But when Evernote became big, I did sort of temporarily switch to it and used it for a while, and I liked it a lot. And I ended up not switching just because I was so in OneNote, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. In this kind of markdown, everything's a note-taking app world, they've kind of fallen by the wayside. They're kind of the Skype of note-taking apps, if you
Yeah.
will.
They should have
You know,
become the notion of
I
everything,
know.
but they didn't.
I
And
I mean, they sort of were back before that was a thing, when
yeah.
you think about it. But yeah, I if I was going to make an app like that today, and there's some kind of there's an open source free Notion like app whose name
Any
is now
type.
escaping me. Say it again.
I think it's any type.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking of, but there's probably a million of them, so it doesn't really matter. But if I was going to do that kind of thing today as a company, a little company, I would definitely standardize on Markdown. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Evernote does or what their thing is. It must be proprietary, right? Some kind of thing they came up with, whatever format. I don't know.
I don't know.
What are you going to do?
You could ask Q.
Yeah.
Amazon had their
Probably
AWS
not.
event this week, and they announced Q, which is kind of like a Copilot thing. Although Q really isn't a new thing from Amazon. I think they've actually had it for a while, but now they've got AI and
Well, they have this, I think it's called Bedrock, which is like a platform for LLMs. But I think the big difference between it and, say, what ChatGPT and Microsoft are doing is that you can plug in different LLMs and multiple LLMs, I guess. So it's kind of open. It's like it's not open, it's Amazon, but it's like an open platform, if you will. So um, I honestly, I kind of see the benefit to it. They're lacking the Microsoft Graph kind of part of it, although I
yeah.
would imagine at some point that will be a plugin. But right now they plug into Gmail in Workspace and Slack, which I think for that audience makes sense.
Yeah, for a large demographic, that is actually the two optimal endpoints.
Yeah, right. It's a good place to start.
The funniest thing about
We'll
AWS
see.
this week, though, is the pettiness of trillion-dollar companies. So obviously
Yeah.
AWS is held in Las Vegas. So what did Google do? They bought the world's largest billboard called the Sphere, which Microsoft has
Right.
bought ads on, and made it a huge Google Cloud thing this whole entire week. Wow,
That's
AWS
beautiful.
happening. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, I walked out of the Ignite, which this year was obviously a diminished,
Mhm.
thing of 5,000 people-ish or whatever. But it's at this really modern looking. When you hear the Seattle Convention Center, you think of that old water dripping from the ceiling,
Yeah.
ready to cave in building. But across the street from there, they built this modern facility it's gorgeous. But anyway, you walk outside of the street, and there was this giant. Some truck had pulled up with like a big billboard thing, and I'm like, here we go. This is
Mhm.
going to be some anti-Microsoft something. But actually, it was just a Microsoft partner
Mm.
doing their thing. And I was like, I kind of miss those days. Remember, we used to get protests like you go to like a Windows launch, and there'd be like 3 OSS guys out there, with their pamphlets and stuff, and one of them's dressed up like Death with the scythe. that was fun. We don't really get that anymore.
It's because they ran out of money to go to the event. I'm just
Right. Yeah, right. Their parents wouldn't pay for the trip this time, so yeah, I don't.
I don't know. New ugly sweater, which isn't really all that ugly, by the way. Usually,
Yeah,
like they're
yeah. I think they choked on the ugly part of it this year.
yeah, they just kind of made a bliss. It's a bliss wallpaper sweater. It's the first one I haven't gotten. I didn't buy this one
Interesting.
because it's not ugly. Like I mean, I
Yeah,
specialize in ugly. It's
they've
been a
sent me a
theme for
couple of them over
37
the
years.
years, but I think I got one last year, but I didn't. They sent it and it's like large or something. It's like, dude, I can't fit in this thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not definitely not buying it, but
Yeah.
I remember the real bliss. I don't need a sweater.
You're a bliss.
Oh,